Welcome back to RMU Live. Today is October 4th, 2024, and I am Brett McGulick.
And I'm Isabella Harris. Continuing the following coverage of Hurricane Helene, people are moving to Asheville, North Carolina to escape current extreme weather, only to find that the hurricane's path began in Florida as a Category 4, killing more than 160 people. It made way through western North Carolina on Friday, killing 50 people, and multiple remain missing. Asheville is home to about 95,000 people.
Keeping on the story about Hurricane Helene, over 1 million energy consumers are still without power across 6 different states. South Carolina, among the most of those, was about 403,000 outages. North Carolina records about 303 outages. Georgia with 295,000, Florida with 27,000, Virginia with 25,000, as well as West Virginia with about 6,300 recorded power outages.
Hurricane Helene's death toll rate continues to rise, at least 180. North Carolina holding the most deaths out of South Carolina, Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, and Virginia. Helene is the second most deadliest hurricane since Hurricane Katrina in 2005.
The Category 4 hurricane has created a 500-mile path of destruction, including catastrophic flooding, damaging winds, power outages, as well as a very high death toll. If you are interested in helping those who have been affected by Hurricane Helene, you can donate through the CNN website, or you can go to pledge.to/help Hurricane Helene victims.
Special Counsel Jack Smith is opening a conspiracy case against former President Donald Trump. The 165-page document, which comes weeks before an election, is an investigation into the former president's efforts to lean on state officials and paint a narrative of fraud that is untrue. The case is also going against Donald Trump's phone usage on January 6, 2021.
As Election Day gets closer and closer, it is officially crunch time for the candidates. This past Tuesday night, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz came together in New York for their first and most likely only vice presidential debate. Let's send it over to Brian Abel to learn more.
The running mates, taking center stage for the only vice presidential debate, quickly addressing foreign policy following Iran's attack on Israel just hours earlier.
It's those that were closest to Donald Trump that understand how dangerous he is when the world is this dangerous.
For people to fear the United States, you needed peace through strength. They needed to recognize that if they got out of line, the United States global leadership would put stability and peace back in the world.
Democratic Governor Tim Walz and Republican Senator J.D. Vance clashing on immigration.
Donald Trump had 4 years. He had 4 years to do this, and he promised you, America, how easy it would be.
And the economy.
If Kamala Harris has such great plans for how to address middle-class problems, then she ought to do them now. Not when asking for a promotion, but in the job the American people gave her 3.5 years ago.
Walz struggling when confronted about his claim of being present for the deadly Tiananmen Square protest.
All I said on this was I got there that summer and misspoke.
And Vance deflecting when asked about Trump's false claims that he won the 2020 election.
He is still saying he didn't lose the election. I would just ask that. Did he lose the 2020 election?
Tim, I'm focused on the future. Did Kamala Harris censor Americans from speaking their mind in the wake of the 2020 COVID situation?
That is a damning non-answer.
In New York, Brian Abel reporting.
This is most likely the last debate ahead of the election coming up this November.
There have been additional charges made against New York City Mayor Eric Adams in possible corruption case. Federal prosecutor Hagen Scotton said they have evidence that Adams attempted to tamper with witness in an investigation. Mayor Adams is currently facing 5 federal counts of bribery, corruption, wire fraud, and soliciting and accepting donations from foreign nationals. He pleaded not guilty at his last arraignment about a week ago.
On September 16th, Sean Diddy Combs was arrested with multiple charges, including sex trafficking and prostitution. Combs soon may be facing new allegations from over 100 men and women. According to the Houston-based attorney Tony Busby, most cases filed will fall under sexual assault, abuse, constitution, sexual misconduct, as well as sexual abuse of minors.
On Tuesday, Israel striked central Beirut for the first time since 2006. Iran's military chief warns broader strikes if Israel responds. President Joe Biden made a statement saying he does not support a potential Israel attack on Iranian nuclear sites. The strike in Beirut killed at least 6 people.
The Israeli military has vowed to continue striking Hezbollah targets in Beirut as well as southern Lebanon. After firing airstrikes onto the Lebanon capital this last Thursday, 9 people were killed as a result of the strike, as well as another 1,000 in Lebanon lost their lives and 1 million have lost their homes. Israel has issued an evacuation orders in southern Lebanon as well as additional villages.
The dock workers along the East and Gulf Coast have gone on strike, resulting in the ports shutting down. The workers are in demand of higher pay and automation controls. This is the first time of a strike since 1977. They have chanted, quote, "No work with fair contract," end quote. This strike of 45,000 longshoremen and port operators could have a major effect of the country's economy. Reporter Laura Aguirre is on the scene to hear more.
There's clearly a deal to be had.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg weighing in on day 3 of a massive port strike.
No contract, no work.
Operations at major shipping terminals along the East and Gulf coasts are at a standstill.
We have been engaging the parties on all sides, urging them to come to the table.
If the strike starts pushing into a second week, third week, we're going to start to see some disruptions.
There are already signs of supply chain uncertainty in some cities. Store shelves around the Hampton Roads area of Virginia bare of many essential items like water and paper goods as union members picket outside of the port there. Experts caution against panic buying, noting that many of those daily basics are produced in North America, not reliant on shipping imports.
We have thousands of cases that are on order for the holidays, and a lot of those are on the water now trying to get here.
For retailers who do rely on ships, like this wine and liquor store in Houston, a prolonged strike could dent holiday sales and frustrate customers.
The next thing is consumers will see higher prices. I don't like it.
Secretary Buttigieg says he feels both sides are not that far apart on key sticking points like pay raises.
In industry after industry, auto workers too, you've seen historic deals with wage increases for workers coming alongside continued business success, and that's what we're hoping will be the outcome here.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
Stores in North Carolina, such as grocery stores and liquor stores, are having issues with this strike, and it's still ongoing.
When we come back, March Madness is back in the Burgh, and Trump is back in Butler? Find out what this means when we return to RMU Live. Let's see women's basketball.
Found my heart out there in the open. Trees make you feel smaller. Can't help but get lost again. If I need a break, know where I'm going. Where the water's flowing, I'd rather be floating. If it's something I can count on to be free.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to RMU Live. Butler County is back in the news with Trump's return.
Donald Trump will be returning to Butler County tomorrow for another rally. 3 months after his attempted assassination. Serious security measures are being taken in preparation for Saturday. Butler County Sheriff Mike Sloop says, quote, "We are preparing a plan with the state police, township police, and the Secret Service so everyone knows what the agency is doing," end quote.
A Western Pennsylvania youth hockey coach has been accused of sexually abusing 2 boys in Iowa. Kyle Dirks, 38, was a volunteer goalie coach for Robert Morris University. He was working at a local hockey school up until the recent charges. Both of the victims claimed that Dirks would pick them up and bring them to his home where he would inappropriately touch them. Dirks posted bond and was released from Woodbury County Jail in Iowa. He is set to appear in court on October 10th.
Shots were fired on Tuesday in West Mifflin. Local police responded to a call around 10 p.m. Tuesday night to alleged gunshots near the 40 building in Montview Heights. 54-year-old Nathaniel Walker was pronounced dead at the scene.
Jason Zenmon Jr. of Pittsburgh is facing multiple charges after holding his children hostage on Wednesday morning. Zenmon was having an altercation with the mother of his children, and he denied bail and is currently being held in Allegheny County Jail.
Unfortunately, West Mifflin was not the only township shots were fired in this week. This past Wednesday, New Kingston Arnold High School District closed down after police responded to shots fired shortly after school on Tuesday afternoon. Reports say that juveniles fled the scene but have not been identified.
Jason Rudge, the equipment operator and maintenance guy at Pittsburgh International, looks back on the 5-year anniversary of opening up the Presley Sensory Room.
My name is Jason Rudge. I'm a heavy equipment operator at field maintenance at Pittsburgh International Airport. I came up with the idea of a sensory room being put in the airport for all people with special needs, and it happened.
Ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Look at that, buddy. That's you. Yeah. Presley, he was diagnosed with autism when he was 2, so when we went and tried to figure out how we were going to, adapt as a family with the child with special needs, we joined a preschool readiness program, and when we went there the first day, it was a nightmare. But his teacher there, she showed us the sensory room, and when we went in, and he was able to stay there and eventually come outside with everybody and play with the kids, and then each day he would just, that room helped him, just like it is right now. So that's how I came up with the idea. I was sitting at work and thinking, what could I do to help everybody,
And this sensory room, this room for children, for adults, for folks with sensory processing issues is the best in any airport anywhere in the world, hands down. And you guys all made that happen. It's overwhelming to think what kind of a difference this is going to make to families, to be able to travel, to the passengers on those planes who are sitting next to those families. There's a huge ripple effect of this.
It's not about awareness, it's acceptance. We want to accept everybody that's different. Just because they look different or act different, they're no less than us. Pittsburgh International Airport accepted us, and I have a huge family of special needs children and adults that we welcome here. So you guys did it, and I thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart, you'll never understand how much I love you guys.
Pittsburgh International shows their support and welcomed thousands of people and families that have benefited from Presley's Place.
Spirit Airlines is set to cut back on routes to Pittsburgh. Spirit will no longer be flying to Pittsburgh as well as Boston and New York. Spokesperson Bob Kurlick says, quote, "We're working with Spirit to understand when these routes could return," end quote.
Pittsburgh is going to host the first and second rounds of the NCAA men's basketball tournament in 2027. It was announced on Wednesday night that the city awarded 8 preliminary and championship events between 2026 and 2027. This is the most events of any city in the U.S. The men's basketball tournament will be held at PPG Paints Arena. In addition to this, the Pittsburgh will also be hosting the 2026 NFL Draft.
Starting in 2025, UPMC plans to take over a number of MedExpress locations. The partnership will operate not only in Pennsylvania, but also Virginia and West Virginia locations. MedExpress will go under the new name UPMC Health Urgent Care, starting next year.
Let's catch up with the Colonial sports whenever we come back.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Today, we face an unprecedented crisis. Tens of millions of refugees have been forced from their homes. But you can make a difference. Turn disruption and despair to hope and opportunity. Even small amounts make a big difference. Provide shelter, support, or jobs in your community. The more we understand, the greater sense of belonging we create. Act now. Visit supportcrisisrelief.org.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Families don't have to talk about everything, but they should talk about how to plan for an emergency. Get tips and resources to make your family's emergency plan.
Welcome back to RMU Live. Let's head over to Finn Lyons to learn some more about sports.
Thanks, guys. I'm Finn Lyons here to bring you all the latest updates on Pittsburgh and RMU sports. The Pittsburgh Pirates finished their season on September 29th, going 76-86, missing the playoffs for the 9th straight year. The Pirates would fire both their hitting coach, Andy Haynes, and their bullpen coach, Justin McCage. The firing came after the Pirates finished 24th in the league in runs. Sunday Night Football is coming to Pittsburgh as the 2-2 Dallas Cowboys kick off against the 3-1 Steelers, who are coming home after dropping a close matchup to the Indianapolis Colts, where they lost by only a field goal. The Steelers will continue to ride with Justin Fields, despite Russell Wilson saying that he's at 100% after being hurt late in the preseason. Kickoff for Sunday Night Football is set for 8:20. The Pitt Panthers return to action this week after having a bye last Saturday. The Panthers will start conference play traveling to Chapel Hill, North Carolina to battle against the North Carolina Tar Heels at 3:30 on Saturday. Now to hockey, as the Penguins finish the preseason tonight at 7 as they come home to face the Columbus Blue Jackets after playing them yesterday. The Penguins will start the regular season next Thursday at home against the Rangers. Going to RMU sports, the men's soccer team is coming off a 2-game win streak as they beat the Canisius Golden Griffins 5-1. Chase Gilly potted 2 of the Colonials' 5 goals. They head to Fort Wayne, Indiana on Saturday to face the Purdue-Fort Wayne Mastodons at 1. The women's soccer team is coming off a 1-1 tie against the IU Indiana Jaguars. The team now looks forward to their matchup against the Northern Kentucky North Saturday at 1 at the NAC. Now to football, the team is on a 2-game win streak as they won their first conference game 21-14 over the Wagner Seahawks last weekend. Tyvon Edmonds Jr. ran for 99 yards and scored 2 of the Colonials' 3 touchdowns. The Colonials will stay on the road for this week's matchup as they head to Richmond, Kentucky to take on the Eastern Kentucky Colonels Saturday at 2. The football team fell last week to the Eastern Kentucky Colonels 31-7. RMU was down only 3 points going into the second half of the game, but ultimately couldn't catch up. The team is on a bye week, but will return to Joe Walton Stadium to face the Delaware State Hornets October 12th at 3 p.m. To indoor sports now, the volleyball team is coming off a win of their own as they take down the Youngstown State Penguins on Tuesday, winning the series 3-2. The volleyball team now looks to build a winning streak against the Oakland Golden Grizzlies as they play them in back-to-back matchups this afternoon and tomorrow at 2. RMU hockey has finally started up as the women's hockey team took on the Union Garnet Chargers in a back-to-back last weekend. The Colonials split the games, winning 1 and losing 1. They now look ahead to another back-to-back against the Bemidji State Beavers. Game 1 will be tonight at 7, and Game 2 will be tomorrow at 3. Both games are on the island. Finally, men's hockey prepares for their game against the Bowling Green Falcons in Ohio on the 10th at 7. That's all for me. Now back to the desk.
Thanks, Finn. Looks like there's a bunch of sports going on both on campus and in the Berg, especially that Sunday night football matchup.
Let's send it over to Michael Deemer for the weather.
Thanks, guys. For today, it's 76 degrees and 59 degrees. 76 degrees, pretty warm for October, 84% humidity, and a chance of rain at 19%. For tomorrow's forecast, it'll also be 67 or 76 degrees. How spooky is that? 48 degrees is your low, 69% humidity, and a chance of rain at 10%. For the rest of the week, for your 5-day, on Sunday, it'll be 76 degrees and 59 and sunny, but the later day for Sunday night football, it'll maybe a little bit of showers, so be ready for that. Monday, it'll be 74 degrees and 49, while on Tuesday, it's a nice 69 degrees and 47 degrees your low. Wednesday, 67 degrees and 45 is your low. 68 and 45 is your low as well on Thursday. Pretty chilly for the rest of the week. It's starting to look like October, guys. Back to the desk.
Thank you, Michael. Sounds like perfect fall weather to me.
After the break, we learn that you are never too old to play a fun sport. Let's learn more about this when we come back.
When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. Now I'm anything but lonely.
We have this deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with Turtle is a perfect day.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer.
I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a little bit of a lot of things.
But they're all pure love.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back to RMU Live. Millions of Americans were stuck these past few days.
If you had trouble accessing your bank account earlier this week, you're not alone. Bank of America customers reportedly were having trouble accessing their account on Wednesday. Many customers complained about not getting in, and those who did were startled with seeing zeros in their accounts. Bank of America reports that these outages have mostly been fixed.
Dr. Mark Chavez has been charged in connection to Friends star Matthew Perry's death. He has pleaded guilty to 1 count of conspiracy to distribute ketamine. Chavez has also accused of providing Dr. Salvatore Placina, who is also guilty of fraudulent prescription. Perry died from acute effects from the ketamine back in October 2023. This was part of a plea agreement made in his court appearance on Wednesday.
A missing 3-year-old boy has been found in a pool. After 3-year-old Isaiah Calvillo was missing, officers sat down his parents for more information. His father stated Aziel likes to wander and also enjoys water. 2 minutes later, they found the boy floating in the pool 2 doors down. Aziel was unharmed.
A New Jersey couple was in a severe Uber accident and are unable to sue the company due to the agreed terms with a separate Uber Eats order. The couple was T-boned when the Uber driver sped through a red light during the March 2022. They both sustained serious internal issues requiring multiple surgeries. The couple tried taking Uber to court, but the terms were ruled, quote, valid and enforceable, end quote. The attorneys involved in the case would like to review and petition to the New Jersey Supreme Court.
Turns out the Cybertruck may not be the perfect vehicle after all. Tesla is recalling roughly 27,000 Cybertrucks due to a rear camera issue. According to the National Highway Safety Administration, the limit for how long a rear camera can be blank is 2 seconds. The Cybertruck, however, had this issue for up to 8 seconds. We all know that golf is considered a sport that you can play all your life. But what about pickleball? Now we learn about a 95-year-old who is still playing pickleball, and she's winning. Let's take a look.
Come on and play with me.
This is Lois White. She plays pickleball every Tuesday and Thursday. And she doesn't just play, she wins.
That's a point for us.
Her skills are impressive. But what is also impressive is her age.
I'm 95, I'll be 96 in January.
At 95 years old, she's seen a lot in her lifetime. She says she remembers when the first airplane flew over Missouri. She married a military man, and together they raised 6 kids. Being an involved parent is what ultimately led her to sports.
We always played whatever the kids wanted to do. I played basketball, football, you name it. My husband and I had a softball team with our daughters for years.
When she lost her husband more than 30 years ago, she wanted to keep busy.
That's out.
And oh, has she kept busy.
See, I played cards quite a bit, and then I took up square dancing. Then finally I decided I was going to play the mandolin and bought me some books. And so I do play the mandolin and sing. I belong to the Pickers and Fiddlers.
An athlete, a dancer, a musician, all while keeping up with her 6 kids, 20 grandkids, 37 great-grandkids, and now 4 great-great-grandchildren. So what is her secret?
I know one thing, you need to keep moving. You don't want to sit, I don't sit in front of the television in the daytime.
Keeping busy has kept her active, healthy, and sharp, and no one can tell her to slow down.
In other words, you do what you want.
Yes, I do. And I'm very stubborn.
I don't know about you, but I think we could definitely learn something from Lois White here.
She's definitely a remarkable lady.
I mean, I'd love to be moving that well at 95. But thank you for tuning into RMU Live this week.
We'll see you next time on RMU Live.